You ever go way out on a limb for someone? I mean, you lift them up, you support them, you really believe in them, only to have them completely turn on you? It is one of the most confusing and honestly, most painful things we can go through. So let's get into it and really try to understand the psychology behind why this happens. Wow, that quote just hits you right in the gut, doesn't it? It's that sharp personal sting of betrayal from someone you would have sworn was on your team. It feels like more than just a broken promise. It feels like a fundamental rule of how people should treat each other has just been shattered. So that's the million-dollar question we're going to unpack right now. Why does our kindness sometimes get repaid with, well, with cruelty? The answer isn't simple, but it is rooted in a really fascinating and powerful psychological dynamic that, once you see it, makes a lot of sense. It really does feel like a paradox, right? You offer a helping hand, you give your support, and somehow that very act of generosity seems to blow up in your face. It creates distance, maybe even anger. And if you've been there, it's completely normal to feel confused and frustrated by it all. Just think about it for a second. You see potential in someone, so you invest your time, your energy, maybe even your money. And for a while, it seems great. It feels like you're making a real difference. But then something shifts, and the person you were championing becomes your biggest critic, or even worse. So what is going on here? What's the core idea that explains this bizarre behavior? Well, there's a powerful psychological principle that really clears up this whole mystery, and it's called the resentment of dependence. Okay, so here's the key. Your ongoing help, which you see as a gift, can start to feel like a giant flashing spotlight on their struggles. Every single act of kindness, every bit of support becomes this unintentional reminder that they needed help, that they weren't strong enough on their own, and that can be a really tough pill for someone's pride to swallow over and over again. This really breaks down that whole journey from kindness to resentment. It all starts with you, with your genuine support. But that support creates a feeling of dependence in the other person. That feeling of being dependent starts to chip away at their pride, making them feel weak or inferior. And over time, that wounded pride just curdles. It turns into resentment. And it's not directed at their situation. It's directed at you, the constant reminder of their need. So how in the world does a positive emotion like gratitude actually go bad? How does it spoil and turn into something so negative? Let's take a closer look at that internal shift. This shows you the whole shift in perspective. At first, your help is seen exactly as you mean it. It's a gift, it's kindness. But as their feeling of dependence grows, the story they tell themselves starts to change. Your gift starts to feel more like a debt they can never repay. Your support becomes a nagging, constant reminder of their weakness. And eventually your kindness feels like a direct threat to their ego. And what's fueling this whole ugly transformation? It almost always comes down to one of these three things, or hey, a mix of all of them. Their wounded pride just can't handle the power imbalance. Their deep-seated insecurities make them feel less than you. And a fragile ego has to find a way to get back control. And you know what the easiest way to do that is? Push away or tear down the very person who helped them. Okay, listen up, because this next part is probably the most important thing to take away from all of this. After a betrayal like this, it is so easy to blame yourself, to ask, what did I do wrong? Was I too much? But we have to shift that focus. I really want you to let that sink in for a second. The way they behaved, the betrayal, the negativity, it was never a report card on your worth or your kindness or your character. Not at all. It was just a reflection of their own internal chaos. This really says it all, doesn't it? Their resentment, their betrayal. It's them projecting their own battle with insecurity and pride and ego out into the world. It has everything to do with them and absolutely nothing to do with you. So once you kind of understand the psychology behind it, what do you do? I mean, how do you move forward from something like that? Well, that brings us to our final part, figuring out how to protect your own peace of mind. This is such a powerful way to reframe it. We often think of cutting ties as loss, right? But in a situation like this, you're not actually losing something valuable. You're making a conscious choice to protect your own well-being. This just captures the feeling perfectly. Imagine you've been carrying this heavy weight on your shoulders. You might even get used to it, but it's constantly draining your energy. Letting go of a toxic dynamic like this isn't a loss, it's a liberation. You're not losing a friend, you are shedding a burden. So the path forward is actually pretty clear. You start to learn the signs, to tell the difference between someone who is grateful in the moment and someone who is genuinely loyal for the long haul. You make your own mental and emotional peace the number one priority. And finally, you choose to invest your incredible generosity in people who give back, people who build you up just as much as you build them up. And I'll just leave you with this final thought. Take a real moment to think about your relationships. Who in your life is actually giving you strength, and who is just adding weight? It's a huge question to ask yourself, because knowing the difference, well, that's the key to protecting both your kindness and your peace.